You're gonna have to write through a mirror.
Right? Or mirror. You can see the ring light on it. Boop. Sweet, let's do this thing.
Alright.
What's up, guys? My name's Tyler Milbert. Shawn Baggs, aka State Champ, aka National Champ, in the house. This is Inside the Mind of an Athlete. Alright, Baggs. Stud kid, like, from freshman year, like we talked about last time, you spoke how your mom and your uncles pushed you to play volleyball.
Yeah.
You spoke that you quit basketball to pursue volleyball, and I'm saying it's been working out for you.
Oh yeah, 100%.
So from the last time we spoke, I want to hear what's been happening in your life. I already know, but I want them to hear, just with the colleges reaching out to you, with the club team Fear you're playing with, and the different tournaments you've been to, and the experience that's brought to you.
So I signed up for this website, NCSA, and through that I reached out to so many coaches. I just emailed everybody. And now I'm at the point where I'm getting responses. People said they would watch me at Nationals. That was a week ago. And they watched me in Irvine. Irvine was the first time, it was the SoCal Cup. It was the first time D1 colleges could come watch in person. So that was really good. And it's just, right now, it's me trying to find what colleges I could, like, exploring my options.
Right.
And finding what colleges fit. And I heard from, my mom heard from somebody, I forgot who, but they said it's less about the number behind the D or what rank they are, and more about my fit in the program.
Right.
And if I like the coaches, the campus, the teammates. It's much more complex than just like, oh, Hawaii's ranked number 1, let me go there.
Right.
It's so much more.
Yeah.
And that's right now what I'm going through, is trying to feel my way through.
Right. And speaking of Hawaii, that was one of the colleges that you've spoken with, and I think my count right now is 8 D1 schools talking to you, and it could be more. McKendree, you dropped on me, I think, earlier today, or maybe yesterday, and I was like, well, Cam goes there. So you playing with Cam, and me personally, if I can play with a buddy in college, that's phenomenal. So for you to have that option there is great. I know GCU, we've played a few kids this year that are both going to GCU. Mm-hmm. But like you said, it's kind of more of a fit. How do I fit in? And I think that's a big thing to think about. And I think it's a thing a lot of people don't think about.
Yeah.
I'll throw out Cam Brown, for instance. He went to Valpro for football. And whatever happened there with him, he ended up dropping out and going to ASU. So was that not a good fit for him, maybe? It could be. So it's definitely, and that's why I kind of do this thing, to hopefully reach out to kids that want answers, need answers, where you guys have answers. So with you saying that, you want the fit to be right for you, not for you to be right for the fit, I guess.
Yep.
Like, anyone wants to wear a lei. Anyone wants to live in Hawaii. But is that the right fit? Is that what Shawn Baggs is going to take that to the next level? Mm-hmm. Like, because Shawn Baggs, right now we got a D1 kind of in your mind for volleyball.
Yeah.
But I want to say, we were just talking about Puerto Rico national team. Like, is USA national team in your future too? Is that where Shawn Baggs wants to keep going with himself?
Yeah, obviously that's the goal. I want to be the best. I kind of have that competitive mind where I want to beat you and then beat you again and be better. Yeah. And that's kind of what I want to do. And I know I heard a bunch of people from Higley did not like me for that, but it's like, I just worked harder than you. Right. And that's my goal, is to play overseas on the national team. Right. You know? Yeah. And for you to talk like that, but you also back it up with playing year round, you ended up dropping other sports where a lot of kids, including myself, I like playing multiple sports, but you have leaped over those sports to where volleyball is 100% your passion, 100% where you're going in your life. And for you to be
that confident in it and 100% dedicated is great. But tell me how club differs from high school, and tell me what the difference is between both of them.
Well, I was told my club coach with Keith Smith. He's the assistant at GCU, and he said they don't really watch high school because they don't know what the level of play is at. And obviously against teams like Williamsfield or Gilbert, it's going to be a high level of play, and that's good. But then in club, you're going and playing California teams, and it's just a whole nother level. You're elevated, you're playing more volleyball, you're playing like 3 to 4 games a day. It's all more high level reps, and that's where the college coaches are watching you.
Right.
So the pressure's on, and it's being able to live with that pressure. And school season's more fun with your friends and winning.
Yeah. Yeah. Speaking of winning, this year, your junior year, you took home state. Casteel Colts took home state for 5A in Arizona. But on a more personal level, you were ranked 3rd in the nation of all volleyball players hitting percentage. How do you think that elevates your game and motivates you more for next season?
Well, I want to be first. That 3rd hurts, Nobody likes a bronze medal. As much as I love it, I want to be better.
Right.
I want to reach that top spot.
Yeah.
Every person I've told them, like, oh, I'm 3rd in the country for hitting percentage, they're like, oh, who's first?
Right.
I want to be that guy where people are like, oh, Shawn Daggs, there's no way I'm passing him.
There you go. Well, I will say being 3rd is still great. Having your name mentioned at a national level is great. But yeah, that's who you are. That's who you've been. I want to be the best. You have a text thread with me and Coach, and you're like, I've said it before, I'll say it again, I want to be the best middle in the country. And there's no doubt that it's showing too. So I love that you can say what you want, but you work hard to back it up. And there's so many kids out there that have the talent and have the motivation, and they'll talk the talk, but when it comes to actually doing it, they're not quite there. They're still on another sport. They're not giving volleyball or whatever sport they're playing at the time their best effort because their head's in another sport, which again is fine to me. But when you're dedicated, when you say I want to be the best in the nation, that's when you're going year round. You just said you played 6 hours of volleyball today. The past summer, this whole summer, you've been 4 hours plus a day. You said if I'm not playing volleyball, I'm flying somewhere to go play volleyball.
Yeah, the past week and a half, it's been nationals, which was 4 days long of 3 to 4 games a day. And then right from there, I flew straight to California to go to a Long Beach State camp that I was invited to.
Yeah.
And that was 10 to 2, no breaks, just straight. And then I flew home, and the day after I flew home, I had high performance, which has been the past 2 days. And that's 6 hours. And it's
incredible.
It's not just playing the hours, it's giving your effort on the hours. Like if I'm in hour 6, if I'm in hour 6, I'm thinking about I'm going to transition all the way. It's so easy to be like, I can just take 2 steps back and get a quick jump in. But when you're in set 5 in the semifinals of your state playoffs, you're not going to have that gas if you just take the lazy way. So if you take those practice reps and you're always giving 100, that's when it builds on.
Yeah.
And that's why I beat the kids who do take that lazy step.
Yeah. And I'm glad you said it, and especially you shouted out the 5-game playoff series, where it could have been hypothetical. However, this was real. Mm-hmm. Casteel Colts down 0-2 semifinals at home versus Williamsfield this year. Obviously, we practice hard. We nonstop. And you just said like that's how you get those Game 5 victories. But for this year's Colts team, what do you think was the motivation? And obviously, everyone's motivated to get a state championship. But what do you think, like, their hunger was? I feel like there was just a different swagger that we had this year. And whether it was playing a team that shouldn't have been there, just even in a regular season game, and we're just like, why are we playing this game? We want to play teams like Williamsfield, like Higley, like Gilbert. But this team's season, they were just hungry every game, and 3-0 wasn't just a saying, it was what they did. It was what you guys did. Every game was 3-0, 3-0, 3-0. When we dropped a set to Williamsfield at home the first time, everyone's like, what's going on?
Yeah.
So fast forward, we dropped 2 to Williamsfield, in the semis, come back to win. So what do you think the hunger was for this team this year?
Well, we definitely came into the season with a chip on our shoulder and a target on our back. It was, everybody's like, why is Casteel ranked first in the state?
Yeah.
They're 5A. And that was everybody's mentality. That's all I heard, because we didn't get to prove ourselves. We got cut short. And we all knew that we were first. We thought we all knew that we should be higher in that national leaderboard too.
Right.
Which has been dropping this year every week and a half.
Yeah.
For no reason. But it's that target and being able to say, I'm going to prove it. And that was what we did.
Yeah.
So we went out every night and we proved it.
Right.
And it's the next ball mentality, I'm going to win the next ball and I'm going to shove it down your throat.
Yeah.
And then 24 more.
Yeah. Love it. But yeah, like Casteel had a target on their back, and however, we also played in the best region in 5A. If you looked at all the 5A teams, the hardest ranked schedule, 1 through 6, was our region. I believe. I think Campo had the hardest, just because our division was so good. So we're not just beating our division, we're beating obviously the other opponents. But then when you look at who they're beating, and then we have to play them, how do you, like, the mindset that you have going into these games, like, these are the teams that want to beat us. These are also the top teams in the state in 5A.
Mm-hmm.
So with a target on your back and a big team coming in to defeat you, and like Williamsfield in the semis, how do we say, down 0-2, we're not losing this game, we're coming out, we're going 3-0, and we're going to the state championship?
Well, we won every game 3-0, so we know it's easy, or not easy.
Right.
We dug in, we just put our shoulders down and we worked.
Yeah.
And I remember going back to the huddle after we lose the second set, and Don's just like, we're not losing.
Yeah.
He's like, we need to win this state championship. And
yeah.
I feel like that resonated with everybody, and we're like, yeah. Right. And then Kyler started swinging more aggressively, I started swinging more aggressively, everybody took a step up in our play.
Yeah.
And that's when we won. You can see it. I think that third set was like 25-19.
Yeah.
And then they didn't hit 20 again.
Right. That victory going into the championship, do you think it was more of a, like, whew, like, we won, we made it here, this was our goal the whole time, to make it here, to win it, winning the championship 3-0, looked like a breeze, felt like a breeze. Cienega obviously was a great team. Whether we kept them out of system or we just had a better day than they did, how do you think the championship game, where some people say, oh, well, it was 3-0, they just weren't good. But obviously, again, undefeated season. So going into that game, how do you think everything played out?
Well, we went into the Williamsfield game with the mindset, like, we've already beaten these guys twice. They're not that good. They won't be able to put up a fight, and we're in state already. And that was a wake-up call when we dropped 2 sets that we need to come out with fire. And that's what we did against Cienega, and I'm sorry that they were on the receiving end of that. But we came out guns blazing, going to win the game. Yeah. And I don't think Cienega had that same mentality, because they kind of walked through Gilbert. Gilbert had 9 service areas the first set. You're not going to see that against every team you play. Right. And I feel like they expected that. And when we came in hitting at them, they were kind of surprised.
Yeah. Well, the motto was, we have so many weapons. and that's not even short of it. That's not that makes light of the situation. There was everyone. There was people in double digits across the board for kills, like every game, and it was incredible. And you guys, to have the season you did, especially coming off the lost season, was so huge. Obviously, we had to start the season wearing masks. Ended the season where the guys on the court didn't have to wear masks, but the guys on the bench had to wear masks. Come to the championship game, now we're in Mesa, who lifted the mask mandate. Now the stands are packed completely. Masks are gone. Was that just a whole different vibe? Like, hey, things are back to normal, and just a different energy that was brought in as well?
I think the Williamsfield game was crazier. Yeah. I think because they came in with a bus of like 20 kids. No. And the coach ended up buying all their tickets, which I think is so shady. Yeah. But this waste of money for him. Right. And they came in with energy, and our side had that energy. But against Cienega, they didn't have that same fire, so they didn't really put up as much of a fight as Williamsfield. So it was a little quieter, and it felt good. Yeah. It's like, obviously, state championship. It's awesome. The energy's different, but I don't know. It was more adrenaline. A lot more fun, I think, the Williamsfield game was.
Yeah, for sure. And I had family there. I had my best friend was there, who I played volleyball with, coached volleyball with, and he lives out here now. Championship game, he was also there. My sister came out. So it was really fun to have my family kind of see what I'm doing with you guys as coaching you guys, and though I'm not playing, they're still supporting me, and that's huge for me. Obviously, your parents are at every game; they're videotaping everything you're doing, and obviously that's helping with your scouting for college. But having your parents there, how does that just make you feel with the support that they bring?
It just brings a whole new confidence. You know, they put me in this. They push me to be a better player, and when they show up, it's like I can prove it to them. I can show them that everything they've done has worked for me. Right. Everything they've helped me with, everything they've put me in, whether it's high performance or the Long Beach State Camp, or just like sending me off to go play sand. Right. With Noah, Kyler, Tate, like the whole team. You know, it's really fun for me to look in the crowd and see them. Right. Like even sophomore year when we went to the Vegas tournament, they were there. Of course. I maybe played like three balls.
Yeah, but it's the support, and that's something huge to have. What would your advice be to kids who may not have that kind of support, where they may at home and their parents may be just busy working and providing for them that way to make sure they got a roof over their head, food on the table, just can't make it to their games because they're working. I feel like some kids that may bring them down a bit, but what would you say to them, or even like a team or teammates around you to make sure that kid is his head's in the game and he's still happy and having fun?
Well, I would say look to the other side rather than looking at the stands for them. Look at your bench. Your team should be cheering for you and picking you up on every single point and just going crazy. I mean, we did that a whole lot. Yeah. Kind of dipped a little bit, but we picked it back up. Right. And it's if your team doesn't do that, then you should just find a different team. Yeah, I agree with that. Touching on that, that's a big part of what we preach, and the bench should be loud, just as loud as they should be the ones loud because they want to be out there on the court. If they're not loud, there's a reason why they're not out there on the court. So our bench really brought energy. Now, when Tommy or Kyan came in for you when you switched out, you're the loudest one on the bench. Okay? Yeah. So explain that to me. Like, is volleyball that fun to you? Or is that also Shawn Bagg just having that much heart for whether it's the game, whether it's your school you play for, or it's your teammates? I just think it's fun, you know? All of the chants I did were funny. Like, if Kyler misses his serve, I'm like, hey, big square. Or when he's going back to serve, just saying he's a freshman. Like, it's all fun, right. You know? It's fun to cheer for your teammates. Yeah. You know, everything we do, this sport, it's a toy. The volleyball's a toy, and we're just playing with it. And, you know? And it's just have fun.
Great way to look at it. Just playing with it, having fun.
Yeah.
So one thing I want to touch on is with the younger guys coming up through the program, you're a freaking voice in their ear. And you're letting them know what they're doing wrong, what they're doing right. You're just giving them confidence to be, hopefully, in your eyes, I'm assuming, the next Shawn Baggs. Mm-hmm. Like, hey, when I leave this school, thank God you still got one more season because we ain't done with you yet. But when I leave the school as Shawn Baggs, who's coming up next? And I think you do a great job at helping these younger guys understand, like, hey, look at me. When you get here, I want you to be me. And I want you to look down at the next upcoming freshmen, sophomore, juniors. Let them know you're taking over after me. So we got to keep this thing rolling. So what's going through your mind when you see these young kids on JVB and just trying to motivate them?
I remember my sophomore year when I got on varsity. It was so much fun, and the very first practice, I'm getting housed every time by Justin and Gabe.
Yeah.
And I remember them telling me, turn the ball. I'm like, thanks, how?
Right.
And they taught me, and that's how I went from being on the bench my sophomore year, not even playing freshman year, or like starting playing freshman year, to being third in the country for hitting percentage my junior year. I remember that advice. It's invaluable.
Right.
So I just want to pass it down.
Yeah. Agreed. Love it. I'm going to talk to you about Long Beach in a little bit because I still want to hear about that. But I talked to the AD the other day. He called me in and he said, hey, he said, there's something going on with the boys volleyball program. He said, you guys have the swagger that we're looking for. And a big name that came up was Shawn Baggs. Shawn Baggs is front row at basketball games, dancing, cheering, having a blast. He's front row at football games doing the same thing. Shawn Baggs is not only the super athlete for men's volleyball, but he's also the super fan for other sports. We're trying to get something going and boiling at Casteel where we have that energy that you bring not only to volleyball but to the other sports. We're trying to get that energy into the whole school and to make Casteel that powerhouse. So as a student at Casteel, you see the ins and outs as a player, as a fan, and just a student amongst your peers. What do you think is missing at Casteel, if anything, that you think could be worked on, where the students that maybe don't play the sports or that are playing the sports, just it's not that time of year, to get them into the gymnasium, out to the football field, out to the track and field, out to the baseball field, soccer games? What do you think is missing there for them not to come out?
I feel like it's the publicity. I feel like a lot of people would want to go to the games and have fun, and if we publicize how fun they are and how crazy our student section gets, and just like what a good time it is to cheer everybody on, then we would get people out. But we have a little poster by the bathroom that says, come to Casteel men's basketball.
Right.
And you're not going to pull as many people doing that as if you're sending a video out of our student section doing the roller coaster.
Right.
Where that looks like something you would want to be a part of.
Right.
So just advertising.
Love it. Love it. Well, I wanted to get that on camera so I can show it to Ryan, because knowing me, I'll forget that. So, but I know he'll love that. So, shout out Ryan, AD, Casteel. So now I want to talk about Long Beach. That's crazy to me. Okay, the national champs 18-19, way back in the day, 91, when I was born. So that's obviously why they won it then. But same with Duke. But no, like. I don't know. That's a huge school.
Yeah. You
got invited to a camp. One, how did it feel getting the invitation? And two, how was it being there with those players?
It was crazy. I got the message. It was on NCSA, and I got the message, and I'm like, that's Long Beach. And I ran out to my dad, and I'm like, Dad, check it out.
Yeah.
That's Long Beach. And I was like, Mom, can you sign me up? And she's like, that's right after nationals and right before high performance. And I'm like, it's work.
So you're saying there's time?
Yeah, I was like, it's Long Beach. And it was crazy. It was surreal to go out there, and they had the stands up, so I couldn't get the full Long Beach experience.
Okay.
But we played in the pyramid on their Terraflex. One of the courts had the Terraflex, and it's like the sand in the middle, the sand print. It was it was so much fun. And being there with that talent that was there, it was awesome. It was a really good experience.
So what talent was there, I guess, age-wise? Because you're a junior coming into your senior season. Was it guys your age? Was it some Long Beach players that they already had? Or
it was all around. The Long Beach players they did have were all starters on the junior national team. They're just ridiculous, and they were there coaching, and they would hop in sometimes. But a lot of it, like the first 40 minutes to an hour would be positional work. So I got to work with the Long Beach State middle and Coach McKay. He was a middle.
Okay.
And the competition there was crazy. There was like a 6'10" middle who plays 16s, which is and the outsides were just crazy. There was the Lib and setter from 352. They're committed to Long Beach State, and they're just so raw. Like everything they do is crazy.
Yeah. That's crazy, because you're coming from a top 10 team in the nation in Casteel, even though they're trying to drop us, but we know we're top 10. Heck, we think we're top 5. Perry's number 1. We balled out with them. We still want a rematch. But like
Garrick. Garrick.
Yeah.
Let him know.
But like, to go to a camp like that, just the different play, the speed wise, more persistent. That just, what's your thoughts coming from? Like I said, one of the top teams in Arizona, and then you're going to that top team in the country for men's volleyball. What's the biggest difference you can kind of take to your high school team next year?
Honestly, a lot of the coaching I learned a lot there.
Yeah.
So much, in blocking, I've always been taught big first step, and then you swing around. And Alan Knight came over, and he was like, no big step. He said athletic step, because you're middle athletes, you're not middle hitters.
Right. You're
athletes, and then you're volleyball players, and then you're a middle blocker. And he said, you take that athletic step and then a big second and third, and you get more air. And I felt it.
Yeah.
And it's easier to close like that. It's just a lot more athletic, like he says.
Right.
And there's a lot of takeaways like that in my skills that I can, again, pass on.
Right. Sweet. Trey Jensen, you listening? What do you have to say to your two middles that come in after you next year? We got Kyan Steins, we got Tommy Forsay. Who, shout out Tommy Forsay, I heard he's tearing up the football field this year. One of the better players on the team. When asked what changed, I said he's the state champ. That's what changed. So, come to Casteel, get a ring, get that confidence, keep working at it. But what's your message to those two guys? Obviously coming off a state championship. Sometimes Kyan's hot. When Kyan's not hot, Tommy came in, he'd get hot. We had those two young guys coming in, and it was a blessing, because if Kyan wasn't on fire, we had that guy to come in. We did, and Tommy stepped up big. If we don't have that, we don't have a state championship in my belief. So, what's just kind of your message to them going into the next season, having a kid like you to look up to?
We're not done. We ate last year. We won the state championship, but I'm still hungry.
Yeah.
I want another.
Yeah.
I want a match.
Yeah, that was the appetizer.
Yeah. That's the opening course. Like every practice, every game, I'm gonna hound you.
Yeah.
I'm gonna beat them. I'm gonna be better. Then I want them to compete. I want them to get better.
Awesome. So you said you got high performance in Orlando next week?
We leave the 20th. I think that's Monday. I missed the first week of school. It's kind of lame. Geez.
Kind of lame, kind of rad.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding. Stay at school, get good grades. That's the message of today. But actually, you know what? Let's talk on that. So to go to a D1 school, you obviously need the grades. Mm-hmm. So you have the grades. And for your, let's say if you're talking to a kid, and he's like, whoa, Shawn Baggs, how did you go there? Obviously, you're athletic and able to. However, obviously, the book work comes in as well. So when you're talking to these kids, is that one thing you do touch on? Like, hey, they're very adamant that you get these grades to come in, and if you don't get these grades, they'll tell you to go to a JUCO or wherever, and then try later.
I do. If it's a problem, I'll bring it up with the kids. I'm not going to hound them for it, because I'm a volleyball player.
Right.
They should be a student first.
Right.
And if it is a problem, I do tell them. I'm not going to name drop, but there was a kid who was struggling.
Right.
And I let him know, and he had it fixed within a week or two. Like, that should be our mentality is we should expect excellence there.
Right.
And then volleyball comes second.
Right. And that's come from Shawn Baggs. That's why he got his grades up. Shoot. If a kid getting just scraping by gets it, but you got a straight A student like yourself, probably.
Unfortunately. I made the mistake of taking Algebra 2 my freshman year.
Whoops.
I just been running out of maths to take.
That's all right, man.
Avoiding calc.
So what's next? How is this process going to continue in search of where you're going to extend your career, both academically and...
I spoke with Troy, the director at FEAR, a bit, and he said I should be committing around the end of fall travel season, so like December.
Okay.
And I've spoken with a couple college coaches who say the exact same thing. Probably visits around in August, and in the same time I'm figuring out what friends I have in my classes. I only have 3 in person besides volleyball, which is money. And I can just shoot them a text and say, hey, what did I miss?
Right.
And then that's how I stay on top of it.
Right.
And just stay on that.
What is Shawn Baggs leaning towards some more than the other? Breaking news?
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
No, I love it. No, hey, I hoped you didn't say anything. Mm-hmm. We'll talk after. No, but Shawn, I'm glad you came here. This is the second in-person interview, which I personally love. Talking over the phone is cool because you get both followers coming on from your end and my end, and but it's more personable like this, and it's easier to save. And, thanks for coming in, and I wish you the best going forward. I can't wait till next season, and we're all looking forward to see where Shawn Baggs is going to sign. We're all proud of you, and rings are coming soon, and let's go try to win another one before you forget about us as a D1 athlete.
I would never forget about us.
I know. All right, Shawn, appreciate you for coming.
Thank you for having me.
Appreciate it. Shawn Baggs, state champ, national champ, number 3 hitter in the nation, soon to be number 1. He's not backing down. This is Inside the Mind of an Athlete. Later.
Peace.
Thanks, Shawn.